Welcome. In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to do row reduce echelon form. So the matrix that I'm gonna use today is gonna be, it looks like this. So notice, this one is in augmented form. Because we have a linear system of equation of three variables. You can say that is x, y, and z. And then here we have the coefficients, and here we have, so if we, so it looks, this looks something like this: ax equals b. So this is your b and this is your ax. Okay, so notice we can start. Notice that the first row we can divide it by 3, and we're gonna, so we can start by doing that. And also the last row is divisible by 2 every term. So let's do that. So that puts me on, that will be 1, 4, 5, -1, 7, 20, 35, 10. We divide by 2. Actually, let's divide by -2, so that we get rid of this negative. So that would be, if that's the case, we're gonna get 1, 5, 1, and -2. Okay, so that's the first step that I'm gonna do. The second step is to get rid of the first term on the second and third row. The way you do it, so this one we can subtract -7i, and then from this one we can do -i. So I stands for the first row. Okay, so if we do that, we're gonna get, so for example, okay, so the first row stays the same, but the second row, because we're subtracting -7i, that means we multiply the first row by -7 and add it to the second row. So we're gonna get 0. Then -7 times 4, that's -28. -28 plus 20, that's gonna give you -8. And then -7 times -7 times 5 is -35, so that gives you 0 here. And then -7 times that 7 gives you 17. And then -i, so that will be negative, so this becomes 0. -4 plus 5, that's gonna give you 1. And then -5 plus 1, that gives you -4. And then the last one, -i, that will be 1 minus 2, that's gonna be give you -1. Okay, so from here, remember, row echelon form says that for each column to the left has to be 0. So the first one in the first term has to always be 1. So this one is okay here. And then to make this a 1, what we can do, okay, so let's try to also work on the first row. Okay, so one way to do it is like this. We put -4 because this is a 1, and if I multiply by -4, I can add it to the first row and get rid of this 4. So that will be, so the third row multiplied by -4 added to the first row, and we can also get rid of this -8 by dividing by -8. So let's see what happens. So we divide. Okay, so -4. So this one is 1 because we multiply the third row. This is 0, so 0 plus 1 is just 1. That gives you 0 because -4 times 1 is -4 plus 4 is 0. That would be -4. That's 16 plus 5. 16 plus 5, that's 21. And -4, that's 4. That gives you 3. Okay, and then we divide the second row by -8, so that this is 0. -8 divided by -8, that's 1. This is 0. That gives you -17/8. And then the last row, we just put it, we haven't done anything to it. Okay, now let's try to get rid of this 1 here. The way you do it is we do -2. So we add it to the third row. So that gives us, the first row stays the same, the second stays the same. Okay, so now -2, so this becomes 0, 0, and then that becomes -4, and then this becomes positive 17/8 minus 1. If you do the math, that's gonna give you 9/8. Okay. So here we can get rid of this. -4 by dividing by -4. So that's the next step. So we take it here, and we're gonna get 1, 0, 21, 3, and then 0, 1, 0, -17/8. And now we're dividing by -4, so it will be 0, 0, 1, and then 9/8 divided by -4. That gives you -9/32 if you do the math. And then that's equal to, and then what we can do is get rid of this 21 by doing negative 21 with multiplying -21 to row 3, and then adding it to row 1. Okay, so the first one stays the same, the second the same. We divide by, so -21 plus 21, that gives you 0, and then 3, and then we multiply it, so it will be, if you do the math here, negative 21 gets multiplied by negative 9 over 32, and then you add it to 3. That gives you 285 divided by 32, and then the rest is the same because we're already in echelon form, row reduced echelon form. So that stays negative 17 over A, and then negative 9 over 32. How do I know this is in row reduced echelon form? Because if you notice, every column starts with 1, and anything to the left of it is always 0. So here 0, 0, and then here they start with 1, there's nothing to the left, and then for each column there's only 1, 1, and the rest has to be 0. So here 0, 0, 0, and 1. That's row reduced echelon form. So here we conclude that we have row reduced echelon form. And then you can say that this system is consistent. And the solutions, of course, are these ones here. So you can say solutions are 285 over 32, comma, negative 17 over A, and then negative 9 over 32. Where this could be your x1, x2, and x3. Or it could be x, y, and z. So that concludes this video. Thank you very much.